First at 5, new questions after this Army helicopter made a hard landing near Golden Gate Canyon State Park. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. Fortunately, nobody was injured, but nearby homeowners are frustrated with the lack of communication from investigators. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry has more from Gilpin County.
The owner of this property tells me that the helicopter went down just outside of the northwest side of her property line. It's actually closed off access to portions of her property. And while she is so thankful that no one was injured in this incident, she's concerned about what happens next.
Yeah, if you'll see, I've got a bunch of flags. We're in the middle of trying to chop all those logs you see there.
Surrounded by signs of fire mitigation.
It's just been nonstop up here.
Jessica Gregg works hard to try and prevent an emergency.
Yes, absolutely.
But nothing could ready her for what happened yesterday.
I mean, isn't that the truth, right? It's like don't live in a war zone. I would not expect at all to have a Black Hawk helicopter crash on my property.
On Tuesday morning, Gilpin County responded to what they are now calling a helicopter mishap. A U.S. Army Black Hawk went down on the east side of Thornton Mountain, just off of Gregg's property line.
The number of neighbors that saw it flying directly adjacent with their second floor windows means he was incredibly low.
4 soldiers were inside the helicopter. Officials say none of them were injured.
I'm so grateful they're okay for them and their families. But again, reiterating, okay, now what? What is the plan for those of us who are still impacted by the incident here up in Golden?
That's just one of the many questions Gregg says she has spent the last day trying to get answered after speaking to first responders on scene.
The fire chief came out, he said, hey, there is a small fuel leak, but we're managing it with a bucket right now. But you need to leave. This is classified. And there's been no follow-up either about the fuel spill, where it's literally crashed above this creek right here that comes down to our well and our pond. So we don't know what's going on or what to expect at this point.
In a statement today, Gilpin County said a fuel leak was mitigated and they are aware of environmental impact concerns and are working with state and federal resources for any testing that may be necessary. At this time, they have not received any info advising residents not to use their water.
And that significantly, it took out a bunch of trees. Is the Department of War going to come back and clean that up, or is it just a timber box now with a pile of dead trees right there? That's a risk to all of us in the area. They are clearly on my property driving back and forth, and they haven't bothered to come down and talk to me.
Gregg hopes that soon changes. Even if it doesn't, she's thankful for the answer she did get, that everyone is okay.
Yeah, very, very grateful to the service members and the pilot who did such a good job avoiding all of our houses. I mean, that could have been much worse.
Jaleesa Irizarry, 9 News.
Jaleesa, thank you. We did reach out to the U.S. Army. They say there have been no reports of any environmental impacts. To add to her concerns and her questions, they plan to have a team on site tomorrow to investigate the situation.